So I know you all are tired of hearing about the Epstein thing that's going on. I wanted to go through this though. There's been some new revelations regarding Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino and their whole kind of scuff that they've been having within the government. Almost that Dan Bongino is like, if either Pam goes or I go. So Pam is actually Dan's boss. She is the Attorney General of the United States, so over the FBI. So you have to take that into account. And then also Kash Patel has been out there as well. I think all three have been they've been good at what they're doing. Dan Bongino has been pretty stellar. Kash Patel has been stellar. And I think there's no people that could be doing it better than those two guys. Pam Bondi, on the other hand, I've been back and forth. I didn't really know too much about her, but before she got named the Attorney General, and even early on, I felt a little iffy on her. I was like, I'm not. Even when nothing really had come out about her, nothing about what she was doing was anything wrong, and I don't think she's done anything wrong. But it's just I did not feel like. I didn't get that good, warm feeling from her that she was really going to be the best one for the job. I think naming an attorney general is tough to do in the first place. It seems like everyone you pick doesn't turn out too awesome. And Trump did get his first pick of Matt Gaetz to be the nominee, but that's neither here nor there. But I wanted to kind of go through this. And ABC News, they gave a pretty good solid timeline of the whole kind of what's been going on about what's come out about the Epstein list and how the mishandle has happened and the kind of the back and forth, the changing of stories that have been going on. But first of all, this is the notorious financer who died by suicide in 2019. I heard this the other day. I can't believe it's been that long. I can't believe it's really been that long since that whole thing happened when he was supposedly murdered in prison. But everybody is familiar with Epstein. Everybody is familiar with Epstein, I'm sure. By now, you've heard of him. So this is 2023. This is Bongino and Patel on the Epstein case. So they were named. They're kind of like they're getting in there. They're familiar with it. They're very familiar with it. And these were guys that were outside of the government, and they had been brought in by Trump. These are two awesome guys put onto the case, and I mean they're dealing with a lot of things. This is just one of the mountain of things that they have to deal with. But this is a big one, and I think this is almost the first one that has been the kind of a screw up in handling and getting stories straight. And it seemed like Dan Bongino, he was all against anybody letting this story go and letting it slip under the radar. And he's got in there, and now it seems like he put his neck on the line, and he said Epstein was murdered. He was killed, or not. He was murdered. I don't know the Freudian slip. He killed himself, and I don't think he had seen the tapes. And he kind of just stuck it. He went on just the things that he'd been told. And then now it comes out that Pam Bondi released the video. It's got a minute missing. Things just do not line up at all. And now there's what they'd said, the client list is going to be released. There's no more client list. All right. So February 20 this year, DOJ releases first phase of the Epstein files. So then it was back in February that Pam Bondi was ready to kind of just start talking about the file is on my desk. I have it before me. The client list is right in front of me. I'm going to be analyzing it, looking it over. And then we kind of like fast forward, and it starts getting kind of weirder as we get into May. It says Bondi in May 7th this year, Bondi claims there are 10,000s of Epstein videos. And then July, just a week ago, Epstein memo released, and this is what was kind of put out there, released to Axios, and it was just almost a joke that it was released to them, that it just almost to hide it, that it wasn't going to be a big deal, so people don't focus on it. Just after July 4th weekend, just slip it in there and just try to just put it out there, so it's kind of. It's everybody can take what they will, get their kind of their story straight, and get their questions ready to go. And she just wanted to slip it out there, almost gives no credible evidence about what she put out there. It just doesn't line up with what she released. It says, then Trump has stood with Pam Bondi, but we know that Trump is somebody that is always, he's playing 4 moves ahead, it seems like. So I don't know if he's out in the open saying that he's with her, he's staying with her, that because she's loyal, because she has been loyal to him. But then over the end of the week last week, Dan Bongino has come out and said, either she goes or I'm going. And that was kind of the thing that just rocked the weekend, that Dan Bongino is threatening to leave the FBI. We need Dan Bongino in there, and I hope he does not leave. I hope he does not leave. But it seems like there is a scuffle that is happening behind the scenes, and almost that it tarnished his reputation of him going out there and saying, yeah, Epstein, he killed himself. There's really nothing to see here. And then this mishandling of releasing the evidence of what we have so far, and now just retracting and going backwards and saying, oh, there is no client list at all. And I think everybody knows there's something there. So it seems like it's minutia and it doesn't matter at all. But this is something that I think could really hurt Trump's kind of image and reputation, because he has always been, you could say, vulgar at times, how just transparent he is, and he just says it, whatever's on his mind and whatever's the truth, he just says it how it is. This is something that it seems like things are being hidden, things that are not being released to everyone, because there's something going on that I don't know if it's blackmail, I don't know if it's what it is, that they don't. And it could be them wanting to hold things over other people. It could shake things too much that they think it's not worth the effort to release these files and be just utterly transparent. I mean, when we get into transparency and revealing everything, I guess there's a reason the CIA does what it does, and the reason that they work in the dark a lot of times, and that nobody knows anything that's going on. It's probably because maybe it's not in the best interest of everybody to know everything that's going on. And maybe that's why. I think the whole thing with Bondi, though, is it's not that they want to be hush-hush about this and they want to keep it on the down low and not release everything, but it's more of how she's went back and forth. She is running to the microphone. She is releasing things. She is saying things on news networks, and just almost to get the spotlight, to get attention. And now she is having to go back on it, a lot of it, as opposed to not saying anything in the first place. It's just that she is over-promising, way under-delivering. And now it's just there's no even delivery available to deliver. It's not even on the table anymore of this client list. So there could be that there really is nothing there, like there's nothing on paper that we don't have anything. But when we talk about physical paper or whatever, there's still going to be records. If the FBI is so good at finding and investigating, they're able to find who did all these things. Epstein seemed like a guy that was just untouchable, and it seems like he's becoming more and more, in an evil way, of a legend, because it seems like he was doing things that were just above our atmosphere. He was doing things that were beyond what regular people can do, and how much power this guy had is just incredible. How much money he had was incredible. And I've heard that he wasn't even that brilliant of a person. He wasn't that amazingly smart or anything, but he was still able to just wield this power and just strong arm people and governments and higher officials. I don't know, just getting them to do something and then just blackmailing the hell out of them or what. But it's not about just what he's done, but it's like it's being built up more and more. And I think Trump, he needs to seriously take this as a real issue. He needs to take this as a real issue and just do a conference, just him just talking about it. Not having Pam Bondi speak, him just talking through it and just talking through as much as he possibly can. And if he wants to pull up Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, that would be great. It wouldn't hurt a thing. And just have them go back and forth and talk through this. There's a reason I'm sure they don't do this a lot of the ways, but I mean, people that are in the government aren't as smart as we think. We always want to build them up and think they're the smartest people possible. A lot of things, it's the processes and the structures that they've put in place that are strong. And a lot of just regular guys, they don't know. They're just pushing numbers. But Trump needs to get ahead of this big time, because this is, out of all the things he's done, I think everybody is pretty firm on board. If you trust in Trump, you think that he's doing a good job and he has the best interest. This is something that kind of flips it, because it seems like he's not revealing something. He's allowing this skirmish to take place underneath him, and I think he needs to address it big time and not just try to sweep it under the rug. He's going to hear it more and more, because every time if you bring up Epstein to him, he gets pretty ticked off. He doesn't want to hear about it. I think he wants to focus on his MAGA agenda of just making the economy great, making people's lives better, and he doesn't want to get sunk into this. But this is something that the Russia, all that stuff that everybody for years just put on him and try to make him like seem like he was a spy for Russia. That was one thing. That was something he just fought vehemently against, but people just kept coming at him. This is something that he really could get in front of. He could really just clear the air big time and just what people are wanting, what people have been promised, because the people underneath him, Pam Bondi, has promised and said that is out there. He could say, he could make her release at least what we have. What is actually there? You say there's no client list. You had a file. What was in that actual file that you said was on your desk? That you had the client list in front of you, and now it's suddenly just vanished. All right. So there's so much more to this that is happening. I think more and more is going to be released. More is going to come out. People are not going to let this go. And I think this is from both sides. And it seems like I'm hearing more about it from the actual right, the people that want this all to come out and just to be revealed and not to be hidden anymore. It's not as much on people on the left, but people on the right are doing this. So that tells you something, that we want to hold the people that we've elected to as much, scrutiny as possible. We want to see what's really going on. But so we'll leave it at that. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and X at @BrandonFogel. Have a great day. Peace, everyone.